Hello, 5th grade math students. Today we continue our adventures in division with chapter 2.5, dividing by two-digit numbers. Our new skill today is to divide a 2, 3, and 4-digit number by a two-digit number. Let's get started. We'll begin today by learning two different methods to divide by 10. We learned the first method in the prior lesson. It is simply that we will take 180 divided by 20, and we'll break that 20 apart into two tens. Using our rule of 10, we know we eliminate our 0. Our problem becomes 18 divided by 2, which we know is 9. So there's method 1. Let's take a look at method 2. Method 2 uses the standard long division setup that I learned as an elementary school student. The problem is set up like this. You start with an L-shaped division sign. Your divisor, the number you're dividing by, goes on the outside. And your dividend, the number that you're dividing into, goes under the L. So we have 180 divided by 20. So let's proceed with solving this problem. How many times will 20 fit evenly into 180? Well, we know that 2 goes into 18 9 times, so 20 must go into 180 9 times. Our answer is 9. If we can get the same answer using method 1 and method 2, why do we need method 2? Sometimes our divisors don't fit into our dividends evenly, and that's when we need to use method 2 to show our remainders. Let me show you an example. In the problem, 180 divided by 40, we can attempt to use method 1. 180 divided by 10 divided by 4. 180 divided by 10 is 18 divided by 4. Does 4 go into 18 equally? No, it does not. So we cannot use this method and get an accurate answer. We have to use method 2. Let's use method 2, the standard long division method, so that we're able to find our remainder, or the number that's left over that doesn't fit evenly when we divide our dividend by our divisor. So how many times will 40 fit into 180? Well, let's think about this. If 4 times 4 is 16, that would make 160, correct? And that would fit into 180. So let's try 4. We're going to place the 4 over the 0 because 4 times 40 will give us 160. Watch. We can take 4 times 0, 4 times 0, and put that in our ones place here, giving us a 0. Now we'll take our 4 times 4 here, which is really 40, right? And that will give us an answer of 16, which will be placed in the hundreds and tens place as 160. Now to find our remainder, we subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 6 is 2, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So our remainder is 20. We would write our answer like this: 4 R 20. 4 remainder 20. Try these 3 division problems on your own. You may use either method 1 or method 2, but a note of caution. For at least one problem, method 1 will not work because there will be a remainder. Please show your work so I can see your math thinking. Press pause, and when you come back, we'll be dividing two-digit numbers by two-digit numbers. Now let's try dividing a two-digit number by another two-digit number. We have to use method 2 in order to make this work. Sorry, for those of you who like method 1, you have to let go of it for a little while here. We're going to set up our problem, which is 83 divided by 15, using the L bracket division sign. So we're going to start this by figuring out how many times 15 will fit into 83. I'm going to begin by estimating, rounding to estimate, because that'll make my job just a little bit easier. If we think of 15 rounding to 20 and 83 rounding to 80, we can start with a pretty decent guess that 15 will fit into 83 4 times. Let's try it. Okay, so if we're going to make the assumption that 15 goes into 83 4 times, because 20 goes into 80 4 times, now let's multiply 15 by 4 to see how close we are to the number 83. So first we'll start by taking 4 times 5 to get an answer of 20. We're going to put the 0 underneath the ones place, but we're going to carry the 2 because we don't want to put it in our tens place yet. We still have to take the 4 times the 10 in the tens place in 15. So 4 times 1 will give us 4, plus 2 will give us 6, which will carry down a 6 into our tens place. Now let's subtract to see how much we have left. 3 minus 0 is 3, and 8 minus 6 is 23. Uh-oh, do you see a problem? This number is bigger than 15, so 4 is not a high enough number. 15 is going to fit into 83 at least one more time. So let's go back and try again using one digit higher to see if we can get closer to 83. Let's try again with 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Once again, we'll put that 5 in our ones place, and we'll carry our 2. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. So we'll put 7 in the tens place. And now we'll subtract to see what we have left. We cannot subtract 5 from 3. We have to borrow. 13 minus 5 is 8. And 7 minus 7 is 0. So we have a remainder of 8, making our final answer 5, remainder 8. Let's try another example to review these steps. Let's divide 88 by 23. Once again, we're going to start by rounding to give us a ballpark estimate of how many times 23 will fit into 88. Let's think about 23 being close to 20 and 88 being close to 80. So 20 will go into 80 about 4 times. I realize normally you would round 88 to 90, but in this case I know 2 fits evenly into 8. So I want to use that 80 to start with my ballpark figure. So let's begin by putting a 4 here and testing to see how close we get to 88. 4 times 3 is 12, so I'll carry my 2 down into my ones place and carry my 1 over into the tens column. 4 times 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Uh-oh, do you see a problem here? I sure do. 92 is bigger than 88. So 4 is too large of a number. 23 can't go into 88 4 times because 23 times 4 is 92. We need to go back and try again with one digit smaller. Let's try again using 3. 3 times 3 is 9, which will go in our ones column. 3 times 2 is 6, which will go in our tens column. Now let's subtract 69 from 88. We cannot subtract 9 from 8, so we need to borrow from our tens column, giving us 18 minus 9 equals 9, and 7 minus 6 equaling 1. So our final answer is 3, remainder 19. Let's try 2 more examples together before I have you try on your own. In this problem, we're going to divide 65 by 16. Once again, we begin by rounding. 16 will round to 20. So we're going to estimate a quotient, 3 times 20 being 60. So we're going to just give a try here to 3. Let's see if 3 works. Move over to the blue box with me where we can test out 3. Here we have 3 times 16. We'll begin by multiplying 3 times 6 to get an answer of 18. We have to carry that 1. Now we'll take 3 times 1 to get 3 plus 1 to get 4, giving us 48. If we subtract 48 from 65, we get, let's see here, first we have to borrow from our 6. 15 minus 8 is 7, and 5 minus 4 is 1. We have a remainder of 17 Uh-oh, what's the problem? Right. 17 is bigger than 16, so our estimated quotient is too small. We have to try one quotient higher. Let's try 4. So let's try again now using 4. Move back over to the blue box with me, please, so you can follow my work. 4 times 6 will give us an answer of 24. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. 64 subtracted from 65 gives us 1, leaving us with a final answer of 4, remainder 1. All right, let's try one more. The final problem I'll walk you through is 94 divided by 32. Once again, we start by rounding to help us make a ballpark guess of what our quotient should be. 32 rounds to 30. 3 times 30 is 90. So let's try 3. Come over to the blue box with me and let's test this out. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. Uh-oh, we have a problem, don't we? 96 is larger than 94, so our estimated quotient is too big. We need to move down one number to 2 and test out 2. Okay, let's try again using 2 as our quotient. I'm back over in the blue box. 2 times 2 is 4, and 2 times 3 is 6. Let's subtract 64 from 94. 4 minus 4 is 0. 9 minus 6 is 3, giving us a remainder of 30. So our quotient is 2, and our remainder is 30. You would write your answer as 2R30. Try these next 3 problems on your own. Record your answers in your homework notebook and show me all of your work so I can understand your math thinking. Remember, the steps are 1, to round to estimate your quotient, 2, to test it out by multiplying and see how close you are to your dividend, and then 3, adjust as needed to find the correct answer. Good luck, and I'll see you in a moment to move on to 3-digit numbers. Now let's use what we've learned to divide a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number. Our first example is that we're going to divide the number 235 by 32. We begin with the same basic step of rounding to estimate our quotient. So 32 is going to round to 30. And now we look for a compatible number that gets us close to 23. How many times does 30 or 3 go into 23? Well, I can think of 2 facts that are pretty close. We could try 7, because 7 times 3 equals 21. We could also try 8, because 8 times 3 equals 24. Now thinking about this logically, which one makes more sense? 21 or 24? We probably don't want to go with 24, right? Because it's bigger than 23, which means that our number would be larger than 235 when multiplied by 32. So let's test 7 and see where that takes us. All right, placing 7 in as our quotient, let's take 7 times 2 equals 14. We'll put our 4 in the ones place and carry our 1. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22. Now let's subtract to see what we have left over as our remainder. 5 minus 4 is 1, 3 minus 2 is 1, and 2 minus 2 is 0. So our answer is 7, remainder 11. Let's work another example together. In this problem, we're dividing 612 by 75. We're going to round 75 to 80 to estimate our quotient. Once again, we need to look for our compatible number. What's a number close to 61 that 8 would go into equally? Well, we could try 56, because 8 times 7 is 56, or 7 times 80 is 560, or we could try 64, because 8 times 80 would be 640, or 8 times 8 would be 64. Let's test 7. Why am I choosing 7? Well, because 640 is a larger number than 612. So I know immediately that 8 is going to be too big. Let's try 7 instead. Let's test 7. 7 times 5 is 35. Put our 5 in the ones place, carry our 3. 7 times 7 is 49, plus 3 is 52. So let's subtract 525 from 612. We can't subtract 5 from 2. We need to borrow from our tens column, giving us 12 minus 5 equals 7. We can't subtract 2 from 0 in our tens column, so we need to borrow from our hundreds column, giving us 10 minus 2 equals 8. 5 minus 5 is 0. So we have a remainder of 87, which is, problem, which is too big. 87 is greater than 75, so my logic when I decided that I needed to use 7 instead of 8 was off. Oops, that's okay. We'll just go back and try again using 8 instead. All right, let's try again using an estimated quotient of 8. 8 times 5 is 40. Write down the 0 and carry the 4. 8 times 7 is 56, plus 4 is 60, giving us 600. 612 minus 600 gives us an answer of 12. Much better. Giving us a quotient of 8 and a remainder of 12. Try these 4 problems on your own. Please record your answers in your homework notebook and show me all of your work so I can understand your thinking. These problems finish our lesson for today. When you come back tomorrow, we'll look at some more complex 3-digit by 2-digit division problems and also practice 4-digit by 2-digit division. Have a great night, and I'll see you in class for long division tomorrow.